Good morning. All right. Looks like we're live. So today we're going to start off. I am going to show a video that I watched last week. How many of you watched that Gary V video that I posted by any chance in the development group about restaurants and that restaurant worker? Did anybody watch that? All right. Very good. Reason being, or reason I'm bringing it up, is it's about this concept or whatever that I kind of thought made sense or whatever, and that was, and I'm going to just share my other screen here too. Hopefully this doesn't break everything. See if it does or it doesn't. Doesn't look like it so far. Go to Facebook. And for those that are tuning in and know that you don't have to sign on to the Zoom meeting if you don't want to talk with us or you don't want to be on camera, whatever the reason is, you could join us through the groups too on Facebook. Just so everybody knows that. And of course, they moved all the stuff around, so that's fun. All right. Oops. There it is. Shoot. All right. I think I posted it in the team leader one too. And now I just need you guys to tell me if this is going to play okay or if you'll hear the sound. All right. Any sound?
No.
How about now?
Nope.
Okay. Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. How about now?
Not yet.
Okay. I'm doing multiple screen shares. I apologize. Thanks for being patient. Let's see. Pretty sure I have to go to here. Go to my
I'll mute and see if that helps too.
Yeah, actually, everybody that's not talking, go ahead and mute. And I'll just see if that has anything to do with it, but I doubt it. Still nada?
Nope.
Okay, I think it's a share thing in right here. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Advanced sharing options. And let's try sharing directly. Aha! Share computer screen. Sorry, guys. Try this again.
So you got to market to 3 visits, not 1. Visit 1, free rib dinner. You sit them down with a red napkin on.
So I'm going to start it over now. We're good to go. You guys could hear that fine?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
If somebody goes to a restaurant for the first time and has a flawless experience, the statistical likelihood of them doing a second visit is about 40%. They come back a second time and have a flawless experience. The statistical likelihood of a third visit is still about 42%. The third time they come, the statistical likelihood of a fourth visit is over 70%. So you got to market to 3 visits, not 1. Visit 1, free rib dinner. You sit them down, put a red napkin on the table, not a white one. Identify them as a first-time customer, connect with them, and work to get them back a second time and the third time. Once they're there the third time, you own them.
My man Chandler, the red napkin thing is genius. Because in a fast casual environment, we're not hitting that table side.
Let me give you
a napkin that's red on the
Chandler, can I detail that for him?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you put a red napkin at the table. Gary sits down, he's eating dinner. Now he's getting his free rib dinner, orders water, costs him nothing. I know he's a first-time customer because he's got a red napkin. When he's leaving, the manager comes to the table, writes on the back of a business card, $5 off chicken. Did you like the ribs? Loved them. You got to try my chicken. Come in for the chicken. Now I'm prompting a second visit, not with a printed
Holy
coupon,
crap.
a handwritten
Yeah.
card. Now he comes in for the second visit, drops the business card on the table. Everybody knows this is a second visit because red napkin was the first visit. Second visit,
Oh
you
my
finish
gosh,
the meal, you go up, you say, so how was the chicken? It was freaking great. Are you full? Totally stuffed. Man, next time you got to try my cheesecake. Free piece of cheesecake. Now, 3 visits. Ribs cost me
a piece
of cheesecake.
Oh, I thought a pizza flavored cheesecake. I was like, that's brilliant.
So the rib dinner cost me $5. The chicken was a washout because it was a discount.
That's right.
The cheesecake is $1.35. For about $6, you got 3 visits out of them with a 70% likelihood of a fourth. That's the way you market a restaurant within the 4 walls of it.
That is huge, right? That's
Chandler,
why you 2 are the best.
Chandler, let me give you one more.
Listen up now,
mister. There was a very interesting thing that John said, because I grew up in that environment too. And John's from the traditional marketing world that we grew up in, from pulling from his world. Notice how he said, first time customer, I'll give it to you, because the traditional retail and bar thing is like, look, it's more like if you've already got somebody in the funnel, the cost of acquisition for a newbody is very, very, very powerful. I used to do that too, but it was tricky, right? Because now some of your old time customers may see that and they've got that angst of, wait a minute, why am I being not treated that way as a loyal customer? You just want new people. And it's always been a friction for us, right? In the right?
Commission cutting.
I just went to Instagram, right? I typed in Lexington, Kentucky. Got it?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at 9 posts right now that are top posts, and ungodly amounts, unlimited amounts of people's posts that are from Lexington, Kentucky. I went down all the way down, and that's from 48 minutes ago. 40 pictures down, 48 minutes ago. Thousands of people are posting right now on Instagram from Lexington, Kentucky. I go to the top 9 posts. I click the middle one. It's a nice little cute couple, right? They got 298 likes. Abby, she's from somewhere. She's part of a sorority, it looks like. She has 2,387 followers. There's a triple dot in the top right corner on Instagram. I hit it. It lets me send her a message. I send her a message. Abby, see you in Lexington. We love being part of Lexington. Here's a $20 off coupon, $10 off coupon, free chicken. Only she sees it. You're grabbing somebody who has a big social media profile. You've not heard any of your loyal customers like me and John had to back in the day. She comes and she posts a picture of the food and creates word of mouth. Now that $5 acquisition created no friction to loyal customers. And because she's now media, she amplifies it, and you're getting an $80, $500, $4,000 media amplification against your $5.
And last one thing, don't discount. People get addicted to discounts. They don't get addicted to free.
That's right.
Well, obviously the last one, people don't get addicted to discount, or don't get addicted to discounts is kind of a big deal, right? In our, market right now. Just going to check back online. I think I lost the StreamYard one. Where did it go? Is everybody still there? Can I still hear everybody?
We're here.
Awesome. So what are your guys's, what's your initial thoughts on how that applies, like by feeding back into your sales cycle? And I know, Pete, you probably got to go, but that I specifically called up Pete Mako and I was like, Pete, this is our topic.
One thing that we need to do is when I was at Pizza Hut, we did Street Fighter marketing. That was before the internet. So we literally had to go door to door to get the front desk chick. So what I would do is that, especially the Mineral Point store, we were the first $1 million store in the franchise. I would go to the biggest office and find the most volume, and I'd hit the front desk chick up. I said, you bring 4 of your friends to lunch and yours is free.
Very cool.
And you find the biggest eater, and she comes in, and that was before a buffet. That was the 5-minute guarantee. Maybe Pam remembers all that. But yeah, it was a whole different world. But you had to get down and dirty, and you would get them in if she brings them in, and she's the only one eating free.
Rock and roll. That's really cool, man.
But yeah, free's no good. You don't give free stuff away.
Free stuff, right? Hey, that's okay, man. You know how we met. Pete and I met for the love of a cuss word. It's okay. So I think what's really kind of interesting though, like I was saying, like, how does this apply then to real estate business or a service business? And are you doing this strategy? I don't care which part of it, whether you apply it to lead generation, whether you apply it to sphere of influence, touching your sphere. Like, how do you compound, as I guess I stated it in the Facebook post before, but how do you integrate what you're already doing so that they play off of each other in a more similar way to the first, second, and third visit in a restaurant, right? What are some of those strategies, I guess, is what I wanted to maybe see if anybody wanted to just brainstorm here today on. Talk about how that correlates. I know from my own personal experience, and I'll just start off with a share while everybody kind of maybe cultivates their thoughts a little bit here too. But literally, I don't really know. Sorry, I got lost in the train of thought because I turned the chat on. I should have turned it off. How do I turn it off? But at least somebody's told me I look good this morning, so that's great. Where was I? Sorry, totally off track. Nobody's gonna help me out, huh? Nobody was listening. No, but
You're going to share a story.
Yeah,
Dan.
just from being at Subway or being at a restaurant, from back in the day. Napkins, I'll give you a for instance. Napkins became, back in the 90s, went from being an expense everywhere that was relatively equal to when Subway hit the map. And if everybody remembers when this happened, Subway printed things on their napkin with, like, not just their logo, but actual information. They were the first ones to do that. And I don't know if they're the exact first ones. That could be actually bullshit. But I was working there when I was like, I don't know, it's 1995. But what that did is it was it was weird, right? Because depending on what kind of sub you got, really depended upon how many napkins you thought you needed. So if you were to get a meatball sub and you knew it was going to be really messy and everything else, we figured out that people would typically want way more napkins per 6-inch sub than a cleaner sub, like a dry, ham and cheese. They only need one napkin. And that's really all that Subway wanted to do, because their napkins got really expensive because they were integrating, having that napkin have information on it that they were trying to convey to people that it wasn't being conveyed properly, at the point of sale or even in some of their advertising. They wanted to reiterate it even more. Right. And they used a napkin when napkins weren't new. So again, I asked, does anybody have some thoughts, napkin otherwise, like what do we already have in front of us, I guess, that we're physically paying for or using, that's not being served up that way, the proper way? Or more importantly, are we wasting napkins on the wrong people? Because that comes down to then thinking more of this from, like, okay, how am I reintegrating my, what do you call it? Gifts, closing gifts, or how does this factor in, or whatever, right? Does anybody have any thoughts on how they spend money already trying to do these things? And maybe it's not a question of where, but maybe it's, again, I'm spending too much per person on this, but yet it's only really effective for this small group of people in my database. So instead of blasting it out to everybody, as Gary was saying, I can individually give somebody an offer that I don't have to blast out to everybody. And you don't have to feel bad about it when it is a individual offering that you give to a lot of people, but it is individual. It is not a blast out, right? I would argue sending out, and Pete, I think you got a comment, blasting out, would you like to know how much your home is worth for free? Well, 15 years ago, that worked a lot. It really did, because people didn't know, they didn't have access, and so they needed to find out by other means. Now they don't, and yet there are agents that still send out a postcard saying, curious as to how much your home is worth. Well, shouldn't it be on a different napkin at this point? Shouldn't it have, something different or tied in? So instead of how much is your home worth, shouldn't it now just be a lot more specific? Curious to know what happened to the LVM neighborhood during COVID? Curious what happened to the LVM neighborhood real estate market during COVID? They're sick of being served the same questions they've been served for a really long time. And it's not because they don't want the information. They just want the questions served to them more today, more modern, instead of coming off, cheesy and, no offense, 80s like, Pete. Sorry.
I love the 80s.
I love the 80s too, man. Journey.
I was thinking, it's a kind of a unique thing, but what I've got a group, I'm closing the last one this week, and it's a Dungeons and Dragons group. And I had them all move to Meadowood. They all live within 3 blocks of each other.
Yeah.
And I went to the first one. This took, I bet it's been 4 years now. So they are all over Dane County, but now they're all in Meadowood, and then they all have to have a base that they all can hang in. So it's just one of those kind of a weird niche, but I got every player, and we close next week. And I did the same thing with Land's End. They had a van that took them from Madison Market to work in Land's End. Everybody on that van has a house with me now. But you just kind of, I don't know if it really relates to the red napkin, but you try to find what someone has in common, and then how can I tap into more of them, of that little subgroup.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any right way to have this conversation. So we'll take anything, but I think that's exactly it, right? So okay, if you're not tying it into your overall business, how are you tying it into one category or one section of your sphere, right? Essentially,
I think, Joe, I mean, you do all those the parties and stuff. I mean, they've got to be talking to each other about your experiences, and that's got to just fan the fire. I bet after your party, your phone probably blows up, I'm guessing.
right?
Yeah, we see some, or the PIH team sees some phone calls. It's hard to gauge, because a lot of times we invite our top 50 or A or VIPs, or however each person articulates or delineates their clients in different groups. But those are the people that send over referrals to PIH the most, right? So it's sometimes it's hard to gauge the ROI on it, but regardless, it's staying top of mind. And so that when they do have a call, they do want to call somebody, then that hopefully helps.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I think you maybe hit on another thing too. So with whatever process you already have in place, it's not necessarily I don't want this thought or whatever to get confused with something that you're already doing that's wrong. This doesn't necessarily need to be a replacement conversation as much as it could be an additional thing to even add on to every process that you already have. So let me let me throw this into something that I think is more along kind of the way I wanted to shape the conversation. Not that this isn't great too, but reviews and testimonials today in 2020, integrating video. Not only that, but I would argue there's not a single person in this entire company yet taking me up on the fact that with just one video testimonial from one client, I can use that for 12 months with snippets and, different things. And people are really underestimating the power and the inexpensive exposure that they can still get with video. They're really underutilizing it. So thinking about that, then sphere of influence, getting the reviews from either past deals or whatever. Right now, I think the process is working with somebody, and if it's going really well, it doesn't matter whether it's before the closing or after, you get a review, right? Get them while they're hot, right, Pete? I think you and I talked about that on another mastermind once. You ask for the view, you get them while you're hot. Now, based on our training from Michelle Hoyt, you know, and asking specifically for a Google review or a Zillow review and kind of framing up how you want that review written. I guess I would just like somebody to look at, okay, I'm not comfortable with video. I don't want to do all this that Dan talks about doing. But the next time I've got an A client that I know is a referring personality type of client, hire a videographer, a wedding videographer, a, you know, estate planning videographer, the, you know, passing away memory videographer. I don't care. Send them to your client's home or go with them, whatever, have them come to your office and get a video testimonial instead of a written one. And because here's the deal. You get the written part because every word they say gets transcribed. So you still get the written review. If you start talking to these people about how to do this properly, you can now use different sections of that review, little 10-second snippets, to not only fill different social media content throughout your year or whatever, but you will use it to encourage other people the same way I use video to encourage you guys to use video, to encourage your clientele to use video in giving you a testimonial. If they see some other people do it and they're like, I'm not afraid to do that, man, those people must really love Pete because they did that video for him. Mm-hmm. Is there not a little sense of competition sometimes with your most loyal fans? Like, I want to be Pete's #1 fan. I want to be, you know, so there's something to bringing that in. But in the review game, and I don't want to get too off the beaten woods, so switching from text to video, how much more leg could we get out of a review? How much more business, how much more top of mind awareness, as Joe just pointed out, could we get out of that? Snippets, because that's what people are looking at right now, right? Videos without sound, with sound, words, you know, that's what people's eyeballs are watching today. They are not sifting through text reviews unless they're going to like shop for a product, or if they've already found you and they're backgrounding you, right? This is about promoting you to get people to looking at those reviews. It's before that. Mm-hmm. So I hope that too makes you think a little bit about, okay, in my review process, and let's back it into the napkin thing. In my review process, how do you reward people for giving you a review? How do you ask for it? How do you follow up with it? Once you have the review, how do you work that review into further communications with your other clients, with people who don't know you, with people who do know you, with people, more importantly, if you caught it in the video, they know. Because I'll tell you right now, if you have a client that has 2,600 followers on Facebook or Instagram, they do not mind taking pictures or video of themselves. Yeah. Have you gone through your sphere of influence on Instagram and seen who are your biggest influencers out there? Because I would argue one video review from them blows away 12 Google reviews from all your other past clients that are all going to be 5 stars and they're great. So that's kind of where I'm going with today's conversation. It's not almost 10 o'clock. We do end these in a half an hour, but certainly I want to leave the door open for a full another half hour for anybody here to share ideas, talk some more, you know, obviously cultivate some
I like
thoughts.
that video idea. When I do my final walkthrough now, because I can't go to closings, I bring the Remax Sold sign with the O is the umbrella, the balloon, and I have them hold it up in front of the street address number. But then I could just quick blast on the video and say, hey, what was your favorite part about using me as your agent today to get you to a successful closing? Just let them do a little chirp, and then maybe that'd be enough.
Yeah, and if you won't go on video,
guy, but
yeah, and if you won't go on video, but they will.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's great, and see, that's just it. And and Jesse Peters, if anybody ever gets a chance to go to his video boot camp, like his business blew up when he got some really fun, jovial clients on video giving him a video testimonial, joking about how awesome the process was to work with him and how there's all these apps and all this shit going on in the world, but it was so nice to be with him, and they were laughing, and it was there, he had snapped a little video of when they were closing, when they first got their AO, like memories. This was something I posted several weeks ago too. We have the number one tool in our hands while we're with our clients the whole time. And people are like, it's creepy or this, that, or the other. If you can't take a selfie with a client while they're at their first, like, especially if they're like a first-time home buyer, I have pictures on my phone of like clients sitting on their toilet for the first time. I have, pictures of different things like that. Now, what do you think I would get now, even 10 years later? And actually, screw it, I'm going to do it, and I'll tell you how it goes. I have a picture of a client sitting on his toilet in his first house. It was a joke. It was downstairs. It was this horrible, just nasty, I always call them whenever I'm showing those houses where they have just the toilet downstairs, the executive bath. But if I were to send him that, and I don't know if I ever got a written review or a video review from him, if I were to send him a picture today and say, dude, it's been a decade since I took this picture of you sitting on this can. Would you do me a favor? If you still feel like that was a good time together and I did a great job for you, will you shoot me a little video review, or will you shoot me a quick little review? I can share it with other people. So you might already have a bunch of ammo sitting in your hand too right now from, times with clients. I have a ton of pictures. I remember of people's first offers, getting their first day accepted offer on any home, obviously at the closing table. I'm sure lots of you have pictures at closing tables. So
I'm going to have to fly at 10 o'clock, bro. If you don't mind. Thanks for inviting me. Joe, it's good to see you, man.
Peace out, Pete. Have a good day, man. You don't realize that's like his fourth Zoom webinar ever. That's pretty awesome. Just kidding, Pete. And by the way, in masterminds, silence is okay for a little bit while everybody thinks.
Is anybody doing, or is it even still around? I am not very familiar with it at all, but the perks at work thing.
Yeah, it's still around. I still use it.
That's something that can be offered to clients, isn't?
Yeah, I only used it Valentine's Day. Because you don't, it's one of those things where it was huge when Groupon came out. That's what that product kind of, or at least that's why Remax partnered with it, was to combat Groupon. Groupon was just hugely popular at the time. So Valentine's Day, I think it could be really effective for kind of your Hallmark holidays. No offense, Pam. She's still in the flower shop. But yeah, your Hallmark holiday type things. But I wouldn't send it out all the time. The other strategy could be is that you send it out once to your clients throughout your time working with them instead of whatever. But I find that it makes a little more sense to maybe send it out to people when they're shopping around the holiday. And maybe if anything, it reminds them. I've gotten a couple of great emails back just saying, I'm not going to buy any of that crap online that you sent me, but thanks for reminding me. So unfortunately, I don't have a solid strategy on that one, but yeah, it's still there. It still works. And I haven't paid for a movie ticket for myself in a very, very, very long time at a theater. And not that we've been going lately, but. There's nobody sitting on Facebook. Let's see what else. Well, I'll close things up. I'll just share this with the fact that we can next week. Natalie, I don't know if you're available to talk. I know you're the cam's off, but we have book club next week. We changed the time, and it's in the development group announcements if you haven't been there. The book, and I am only through chapter. It's on Audible. It's a 6-hour listen. I don't know if that helps anybody these days. I kind of feel like that's like even driving directions now. Oh, that book's a 4-hour. That book's a 4-hour listen. That one's a 6-hour. Yeah. Like Canada, United States, and Mexico. It's how many cases versus how many beers it takes to get there versus how many tequilas, bottles of tequila it takes to get. I don't know. Treating People Well is the name of the book from this month. Whoa, did you guys just hear that? No? Weird. Okay. How about?
It was always a thrill to make the initial call approaching talent for an event. If it was someone we had not dealt with previously, the manager or agent.
Okay. Anyway, I listened to him at 1.25 speed. It only works with certain readers. I get it. Sometimes I actually have to slow the person down a little bit, like whatever, but I never utilized that feature on Audible before. It's kind of nice. Especially when you're in a chapter that you don't really like, you can speed it way up. But yeah, it's Treating People Well is the name of the book. And I was going to give the author here. Well, the foreword's by Laura Bush, but it was Lee Berman and Jeremy Bernard. And these were the two house aides, the social events coordinators for the Obama administration and Bush too. So it's really, and I know like Natalie was a little concerned about having it be a politically charged thing, but it's actually great because it's two completely different outlooks from both camps, of the same position or whatever, but it's very interesting so far. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Anybody else have any announcements or anything else like that? Thoughts?
We're good.
Are you here? I was like, I hear her closing her door and stuff, so that's okay. All right. Well, hey, everybody that stopped in and dropped in, I appreciate it. And so next week we have book club on Wednesday. Then we'll be back the following week after that for Mastermind first and third Wednesdays. And if anybody wants to, if you found this helpful, or if you have an idea later that you just want to share with this group, please go back into the Facebook group and write a comment. Hey, remember when we got together and thought about this? Here's what an idea I had. And I don't care if other people know about it, right? Anywho, hope that helps. I hope everybody has a great day. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dan.
You bet. Take care, guys.
Have a great day.